Another thing that I must ask about is the Chignecto Isthmus. And so my understanding is that the finance minister said that $4.9 million is in the budget, capital budget for design phase for this year. I wonder if the minister can just confirm that and add any detail as to what will be accomplished in this coming year in terms of the Chignecto Isthmus, please.
I'm trying to get the answers to you quick because I know your time is limited. So what's going to happen is mostly it's going to be pre-engineering work, and that would include stakeholder engagement, rights holder engagement, engagement with the communities affected, and data collection, environmental data that needs to be collected as well. I mean, all of these things that, especially projects of this size, there needs to be all of that environmental assessment done and just what the impacts of the project will be. I can tell you that the federal government has committed to $325 million through the Disaster Mitigation Fund, and there has been a funding agreement reached between the federal government and the province of Nova Scotia and the province of New Brunswick. So the agreement has been reached, but none of that has been finalized yet, and I don't think there's any ink to paper yet on that, but that should be forthcoming. And so for this year, we will see that pre-engineering work, and that includes what I've talked to you about, the environmental data, the rights holders, the stakeholders, and consultations with the communities.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. And so, can the minister speak to when he expects to see ink on paper and how the funding will flow from the federal government? Yeah, in terms of what that funding agreement might look like. And I know not everything can fit into questions during this committee, but I guess I wonder if the minister can speak briefly to have consultations and stakeholder engagement already begun, or is that just starting sort of in this fiscal year?
So I'm sure that the member opposite is aware that the funding agreement was reached mere days before an election call, and so I would imagine that once the election is over and there's a new government in place, the commitment is there, and that agreement would come together and we would see ink to paper. There's been, again, I'm sure the member opposite is well aware that there's been a lot of discussions around just how this would go. There's been stakeholder engagements when we're talking about the preliminary studies. There's stakeholder engagements when we were trying to decide what would be the best remedy and where, and so it's been an ongoing process of engagement, and I think every time you move the needle closer to putting shovels in the ground, that you have to get that final engagement, and I think this is, again, an ongoing process where we will be engaging with the community, with stakeholders and rights holders all the way through until we get those shovels in the ground.
I want to say that I wasn't sure if anything had been signed right before the election, because I know that the government of New Brunswick had already said, yeah, we're on board. So I just wasn't sure if anything had been signed. So I urge anyone who might form the next federal government to go ahead and sign those right away.